Welcome to your first introduction of the field of psychotechnology. Psychotechnology is that field of knowledge that changes the meaning of knowledge itself. This means those pieces of knowledge, understanding and ways of reasoning that fundamentally affect the way we perceive and evaluate our in-the-moment experience and has a measurable effect on our state of being and impact in the world. For we are creatures of connections. We do not exist in isolation. We are social animals and we learn quickest by being surrounded by people who are showing us new ways of solving problems and new ways of making choices. For a long time, tradition was a very powerful way to bring down knowledge from that past. This is still a very strong drive for most of us. Luckily, there are more and more environments that take a fresh look at things, where power is not derived from authority, but based on choosing some objective measure, trying to quantify that measure, and extracting an informed way forward for the future. Let data show us the way. This is not all, though. There are two ways of evaluating new information. The classical way is to have a fixed understanding of the world and evaluating every piece of information only from within that single framework. The advantage is, this way of first defining an objective reality creates a sense of security. After all, I now have created a framework for myself within which I can convince myself that something is objectively true or not, alleviating any uncomfortable sensations of not knowing for sure. There is a different way, though, a Bayesian way, where I evaluate every new piece of information and moderate it compared to the probability that it was actually expecting this result. This might seem a trivial difference. It is not. It opens the doorway to incrementally update our understanding of our world based on new experiences, including those that fall outside of our preferred model of reality. Different way of saying this. There is additional information in the context of the message. Data point. Over the last decades, a lot of experiments have indicated that adopting an expansive and upright body posture affects our cognition, our emotions and our physiology, down to the level of adrenaline and cortisol in our bloodstream. This is easily understood from a social perspective. We mammals have evolved to form coherent groups, where we are not only dealing with external threat but also internal ones. To communicate whether we are a threat or not to the social hierarchy, we have learned to use our body posture to minimize avoidable conflict. So whenever some uncomfortable perspective looms on the horizon, our bodies have a natural tendency to shrink and to communicate to our environment we are not a threat. But you maybe didn't know that there's an even stronger effect. This means whatever your rational prejudices are relating to what you should pay attention to in a time of stress, first taking care of your body posture and embodied well-being increases your impact way beyond what you would have rationally expected. For reference, you can look at the research yourself. Here you can find the link. We can explain this as follows. Our brain not only scans our surroundings to evaluate whether we are safe to freely express ourselves, it also scans the state and posture of your own body to find out what is going on. This is the reason why it was always a good idea to take a date on a roller coaster or a scary movie. As far as your body is concerned, arousal and fear both have very similar physiological responses. And because our brain consists of three very different structures, a very old reptilian brain, a newer mammalian or limbic brain, and our very new neocortex, we can take active control of this back door into our perception action system. By hacking into this mechanism and actively taking care of an upright and expansive body posture, we are creating a positive feedback loop. We now come to the second principle in psychotechnology. That is, it matters what you pay attention to. We humans have evolved a bias to focus on bad news. Because we have the capacity for rational thought, we have invested a lot of mental brain power in trying to prevent all kinds of negative things from happening and manipulating our environment to generate positive outcomes for ourselves. More and more data shows that this is no longer the best way to achieve well-being, as Richard Taylor, Nobel Prize winner of economics in the year 2017, shows. The less attention people pay to the news, the better they're going to sleep, the more money they will have. Richard Taylor. With these new perspectives in mind, I invite you to take a closer look at our Embodied Wellbeing Masterclass and embark on a journey of discovery rich enough for a lifetime.